So last week I booked some time off work. I booked a week off work and I decided to set myself a bit of a challenge. But I didn't want any high hopes for this challenge. It was more for me to get outside, build my confidence and just do some wild swimming. So over the winter, for many different reasons, I completely lost my confidence when it came to wild swimming. So I booked a group session with Angela Jones, I think back in February. And it was a night winter swimming. It really helped boost my confidence and to try and get back into the water again. I was just going to see how many days I could do swimming and how many places I could find. First I was going to do a 7-day challenge, and then I thought, well, I tend to beat myself up if I don't get that, and I get really frustrated with myself if I couldn't achieve it. So I thought, I'm just going to go out there. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So I managed 7 dips over the period of my week off work, and starting from Friday the 8th of April.
My first location was Lake 32. It's a freshwater lake based in the beautiful Cotswold Water Park. This was the perfect place to be able to swim solo but still have the support and safety of the staff there if you need it. I booked an hour's swim a few days in advance, which gave me even more motivation to give it a go. I also got to stay with my sister in Bristol for the weekend, so it was a no-brainer really. My anxiety was through the roof on the drive up as I was so nervous about where I was going, what are the staff like, what are the rules. But the 2 of the staff members were really friendly and so welcoming when I arrived. I probably stayed in longer than I should have though, but I did wear a wetsuit just so I could stay in longer than my usual 15 minutes of cold water swimming. Of course, I had to grab a coffee and a cake before I left. My next dip wasn't until a couple of days later when I attempted to take a dip in Vale Country Park, which actually turned out to be a bit of a fail. I had seen this beautiful spot mentioned quite a few times on the Rhondda Swim Facebook page, except I was left really disappointed when I turned up to find it was actually quite a small and very exposed little pool. I felt way too uncomfortable to be dipping there, so I headed off to find Mardi Lido instead. I parked at what is labelled as Beyond Land's End car park on Google Maps and headed down the hill. I walked past Clitic Reservoir until I found this little rock pool and waterfall on the left hand side. I much preferred this as it was more secluded and the views were beautiful. What I didn't like, however, was the sheer amount of litter that had just been dumped around this rock pool. I couldn't bear to leave it, so I did a litter pick before I went home. It's really quiet, no one else is coming here, but I'm really annoyed by the amount of rubbish that people have left. So I've just gone and picked all this up, and there's a few more bits as well that I'm going to pick up. It's such a shame that people just feel the need to ruin these places, and there's bits over there that I can't get to because it's really boggy and I don't particularly want to fall in. Tuesday's wild dip also turned out to be an interesting one. I had seen on YouTube that there was a place called Nancy Waterfalls in Brecon Beacons that looked absolutely stunning. I'd also read about it in the Wild Guide that it was a perfect place for a dip. However, I went wrong from the get-go. I parked in a National Trust car park called Cwmgwdi, and for some unknown reason, I thought that walking up a hill would eventually lead me to a river. Don't ask. All it did was lead me in the direction of Penarvan. I ended up having to go back on myself and scramble down a steep hill to try and get to where I actually wanted to go. I was ready to give up until I eventually stumbled upon the path that leads directly to the waterfalls. What should have taken half an hour actually took me 4 hours and 7 miles of hiking. As stressed and as grumpy as I was, I soon cheered up again when I found this amazing spot. Frustratingly, I somehow missed the public footpath sign that was directly behind my car. I didn't realise this until I eventually got back to the car park. It's a lovely little swim. It wasn't as deep as I thought it would be. Probably only stayed in for about 10 minutes. There's not really much swimming you can do. It took me forever to find this place. I got it wrong from the get-go. So as soon as I left the car park, I got the route wrong. So it's getting on a bit now, and I should probably be heading back. But before I do, so I'm gonna go and retrieve that rubbish. Not sure if you can see it. It's bright luminous down the bottom, and I'm not sure if that's a plastic bag. But I'm gonna go and save it anyway, and then quickly head back. It just looks like it's going to absolutely heat it down. I don't know if you can see. It's it's just all got a bit grey. Oh my god, that is a really angry cloud in the distance. It's so black. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera. Oh my god, I'm gonna get drenched. I thought I took the wrong turn, but I've just spotted a bridge just down there. Thank God for that, because I was starting to worry that I was really off track. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank God for that. I ended up missing Wednesday's dip and went for a hike with my partner instead, but Thursday I'd arranged to meet a group of people through the Taffy Dippers. We all met up in the afternoon and drove to a residential area right next to the Gored in Carmarthen. This was such a beautiful sight, and apparently the water is bright blue in the summer, which I would love to see. It was perfect. There was a small weir and the river wasn't too fast flowing. It was both shallow and deep in places, so it was perfect for a gentle swim. We all just paddled around really and had a chat. It was a lovely afternoon, and it was nice to go out with a group of people rather than just on my own. You can also jump off the bridge, which Leighton happily demonstrated for us. I, on the other hand, decided to give that one a miss though. Friday ended up being a double dip. I had a few spare hours in the morning, so I cycled down to Glenheath Gunpowder Works for a dip after reading about it in the Wild Guide. I was a bit disappointed though to see that the path had been closed due to maintenance, even more so when I later found out that it's actually been like that for quite a while now. It's still a beautiful place to visit and a short walk from Dinas Rock, although the water was a bit too deep and fast flowing for me, so I headed back downstream to find a bit more shallow and slower moving part of the river. Just when I thought I had the place to myself, I turned around to see a big family walking across a bridge and watching me. I think you can tell by my face just how awkward I was feeling. Still, I tried to make the most of my swim, even if it did make me feel uncomfortable. This place is phenomenal. This is so beautiful. I'm gonna head back up the path because I think the water's a bit fast flowing for me to get in, and I think it's a bit too dangerous. And past to the Gunpowder Works is closed at the moment, so doing maintenance. But it's not the end of the world because I can always come back. Yeah, it's really, really deep by here as well. I'm gonna head back down here, I think. I think I'll stop here. Seems a bit quieter. I'm just gonna bit off the path. Okay. I thought I was on my own when I was swimming, but I turned around and there was a big family staring at me from the bridge, and then I felt immediately uncomfortable and then got out. And then when I thought they'd gone, I went back in and they were still there, so I just got out in the end. I really don't like being stared at, which is funny because wild swimming is a bit of an odd thing to do for most people anyway. I love it, but I can't stand people staring, which is why I like the secluded spots. I like the peace and quiet and just to be left on my own, which is a shame. Like, they've got every right to be there, that's fine. It's just sod's law that I thought I found this really secluded spot. A waterfall country is already starting to build up. So when I cycled past the cars earlier, all the parking spaces were pretty much gone. Easter bank holiday, so it was going to be busy. But I'll try that spot again, maybe when the water's not so fast flowing either, because it was a really, really pretty sight. I can't. It's gonna be so deep. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't! It's gonna be cold in here. Oh my fucking god.
Oh, I thought it'd be deeper than that. Not too bad.
Oh, there is a branch here somewhere. It's cold. That's all I can say right now. Oh. Oh, just poke my bum on a branch. Oh.
Alright, I just had a nearly got up my feet and run away.
Oh no. I sat on a bumblebee the other day. This was the second dip of the day. We met it with some friends in the afternoon and headed to Clitic Reservoir, which can be found at St Gwynno Forest in Rhondda. It's a beautiful walk through the forest to reach the reservoir, and we found a perfect quiet spot for a picnic that was tucked away on the side. It also had easy access into the water as well, which helped. I'm always a bit apprehensive though about swimming in reservoirs due to hidden dangers, but I felt so much safer having other people with me. Plus I wasn't planning on swimming far out anyway. I only stayed where I felt comfortable and able to touch the floor. I had such a lovely time just swimming around with the sun shining and having a laugh. It really was just absolute bliss. We had friends staying with us for the Easter bank holiday weekend, so it was a great excuse to show them the waterfalls at Ystrfelta and for me to take a dip in the Avon Epstein, of course. Unfortunately, I forgot to pack my GoPro, so my friend kindly let me use his Insta360 camera. Unsurprisingly, it was extremely busy for a sunny bank holiday weekend, but I found the perfect spot for a swim away from the crowds. I'm really enjoying not having to rely on lugging my wetsuit around with me anymore. Despite the water being freezing cold, it really didn't take long for me to get used to it. I made the attempt to do the typical slow-mo hair flick in the water, which just resulted in the least sexiest hair flick ever and just getting my hair tangled in my piercings. What a fail.